Look, everything you need to become a data analyst is already out there, but if you do wrong things, you'll waste years, and I see it every day. So today I'm going to go through and rank the best data analytics certificates, and I'm going to review each one with pros and cons and actually rank them. And I've taken multiple of these myself and reviewed lots of data certs on this channel, and also made some of the most viewed data analytics guides on YouTube. All of these certs are going to be for beginners and no experience is required, and they are low cost or even free, so buckle up to become a data analyst with flexibility, opportunities, and the life you want to live waiting for you. Let's begin. So first up is going to be Google Data Analytics, and in my opinion it's completely useless. And it pains me to say this, but I don't advise you to take this one at all. Now, for context, I've finished the entire Google Data Analytics certificate myself, and I don't regret it. It was many years ago. But there's just better ways to spend your time nowadays. Look, the Google Data Cert was completely revolutionary when it came out. It was the first of its kind. It was helping beginners slowly break into the field of data analytics without prior skills or a prior tech background. And that was a really good thing. But the problem is that it doesn't teach you anything. It's kind of just long discussions about mindset and some dabbling around with really basic parts of SQL or Google Sheets. Now, if you apply for a data job and all you have is going to be the Google Data Analytics certificate, you don't even have a tenth or like a 5% of what the skills required are nowadays. But I'll be honest, I think it's a good certificate in some ways, especially to understand the field of data and what data analysts do and kind of like that stuff. And that's a good thing in itself. But the problem is often that people look at this course as just a long course of 6 months because of the length that they say it is. And they think, oh, if I just do this for 6 months, I'll be a data analyst. No, unfortunately not. And if you're serious, I recommend you finish this in about 2 to 3 weeks. I'm gonna put this one on C tier. Now, it is a fantastic way to get a light introduction to the field, but the problem is that it says you'll be job ready and all that stuff, which in 2026 and beyond, unfortunately, is not true. Now, I am gonna show you guys a couple of options that are true for 2026 and beyond, but sorry, a little bit, brutal here in the beginning, and now let's get into my actual recommendations. So the next one is gonna be IBM Data Analyst. Now, this one actually gets a lot of hate, and for many years it's been, staying in the shadow where people talk about the Google one, but people don't talk about the IBM so much. And I think it's amazing, the IBM cert. Now look, IBM definitely makes some shitty looking presentations. It kind of feels like you're watching a tech tutorial on YouTube from like 2010. But the content itself is actually very useful. And the course teaches you the basics of data while focusing heavily on Python. Remember that, because Python is an extremely valuable data analytics skill, ranked as the #1 programming language after SQL, which technically isn't a programming language, but that's a topic for another day. It's similar in length to the Google Data Cert, but it's so much more practical and valuable. And I'll definitely put this on the A tier. Now, the only downside here, and why it's not even higher, is because they teach you something called Cosmos, which is used for data visualizations, and it's, in my opinion, kind of a waste to learn that stuff when you could just spend your time on Tableau or Power BI, which are much more in-demand skills employers actually look for on your resume. And resumes and skills people look for should dictate your learning if you're looking for a job. But it's only a short course on Cosmos, so you're not really missing out on much. Next up is going to be IBM Data Analytics with Excel and R. This one is only 3 months at 10 hours per week and top rated, and definitely worth it to learn Excel. And also worth it if you're going to focus on R programming. If that's your thing, take this course, otherwise skip it completely, because honestly, I'll put this one at C tier because I don't really like R programming, and I know I'll probably get some hate for that, but I think most beginners should learn Python instead, because it's more versatile, and especially with AI and how things are changing, being flexible and having a versatile skill set, I think it's gonna be very, very valuable, especially in data in this age. Next one is going to be Tableau Business Intelligence Analyst. Now, this is what they say. Launch your career in data analytics, build in-demand skills and gain credentials to go from beginner to job ready. Let's talk about it. So Tableau is a data visualization software people use to make charts, cool-looking graphs, generate reports, and more. And it's highly in demand and ranked as one of the top skills for data analysts on the job market. It also kind of overlaps with business intelligence and other roles that also use Tableau. Now, I don't recommend this as your starting point or your first course to enter data, because I think it's more important to learn things like SQL and Python, although I will admit that it opens you up to a ton of new opportunities. Because if you focus on a skill like Tableau for a whole course, like you're doing here, you're going to gain so much practical skills and knowledge, and you're actually going to do projects and build a portfolio using Tableau. And while it's great to be a jack of all trades, I do think that if you know Tableau extremely well and you have some nice projects, that's a huge benefit in a job position or when you're applying for something, not just putting it on your resume, but actually building a whole portfolio around it and showing that you can do really cool stuff with it. So I'm gonna put this course on an A tier for now. Next one is gonna be UC Davis Data Visualization with Tableau. Now again, a course on Tableau, but a little bit shorter, and it has some pros and cons as well. The cons or the pros is that it's shorter, and I think that's a good thing, but it's also less focused on data analytics, and that's a bad thing. It's more about general Tableau skills, which you can apply to lots of different careers, pure Tableau knowledge, and the other course was more focused on using it for IT and for data analytics specifically, and being job ready. Still a good option, especially if you have less time to do it, because it's easy to get overwhelmed by these, massive courses with 6 months, 8 months, and you'll never start in the first place. So that's why I like short courses more and more nowadays, because I think long courses, yes, they're more complete, but people never start them. I always struggle. I start something, I don't finish it because it's too long. And it's just, you have to consider these factors as well, not just which course is going to learn or teach you most things, but also which course are you actually going to finish. All right, next up, we're going to have Meta Marketing Analytics. And I don't like this one, and I'll tell you why. So marketing analytics is a very, very good and interesting subfield of data analytics, where you take data skills from data analytics and you adapt and tailor them to focus on marketing, like analyzing campaigns, advertising, and so on. And that is really good if you want to become a marketing analyst, and there are plenty of jobs in that space for people with the right skills. But you do need to be 100% sure of it. And I don't think it's a good overall data analytics course, because the first part is pure data analytics, but then it becomes a lot of marketing. And everything you learn is specifically made for marketing analytics. So if you're not going into that, I don't think it's a good option. Now, I'm an advocate for specialization. It's how you stand out on the job market and how you actually win. But I don't recommend you start here. Take a broader data analytics course first, in my personal opinion, unless you're really sure you want to go into marketing, because you're just going to learn a lot of stuff you don't need, and that's going to waste your time if you're going another route after. I'll put this one on, let's say, B tier, but it's definitely S tier if you're into marketing analytics. Okay, next up is going to be Google Advanced Data Analytics. Now, this is a much better option than the original. It focuses more on Python and some heavier data science concepts. And to be honest, it's not that advanced. It's just harder than the original data cert, which in my opinion is very easy. Now, the only downside here is you do need to supplement SQL on the side, because it's not going to teach you any of it, and probably Tableau or Power BI as well. But it does a fantastic job at teaching Python and practical data skills. If you're short on time, I would say that some courses at the end of the certificate with more machine learning stuff are a bit advanced and overkill for a data analyst. You can skip them, but if you have the time, I still recommend you take them to get an introduction to that, especially if you want to move into data science later, because you might, get a promotion and you want to eventually climb up that ranks and try something different. You could always do that. So I'm going to put this one at the S tier easily. Next one is the Microsoft Power BI Analyst. Now, this one might actually be my personal favorite on the list. I don't know, but I just love this certificate. Now, it's got about 500,000 students and top ratings for a very good reason. And what it does basically is it goes deep into Microsoft Excel and then extremely deep into something called Power BI. And everything focuses on data analytics and working in a company doing these practical tasks. Now, the best thing is you also prepare for Microsoft's official PL300 certification exam, and you get a 50% discount, so you save some money as well, if you decide to take it. And this is an official Microsoft certification on their own website, separate from Coursera, which is very valuable. And it's probably the most valuable data analytics certification, especially for beginners, on the planet. So this is a fantastic course on Coursera and a great start in data analytics. Obviously, the only reason why it's a bad idea is if you prefer Tableau or something, and it's a horrible idea. But this one is clearly S tier, one of my absolute favorites ever. Next up is going to be Unilever Supply Chain Data Analyst. Same thing as before, terrible for beginners who are still figuring the path out. But if you are very sure you want to go into supply chain analytics, it's a good option. Who am I to tell you it's not? Supply chain management has a lot of openings and opportunities if you're into that stuff. So I'm going to put it on A tier because people don't talk about this much. And if you are applying for a data job in supply chain analytics and you have a certification in supply chain analytics, that's going to be extremely helpful to know and show that you're already kind of in the field and not just a general data analyst to stand out from the crowd. So a very good thing to specialize in. Same thing for the next one, which is going to be Unilever Digital Marketing Analyst. I don't think this one is as important because many regular data analytics courses already cover data analytics for marketing, and it's often used as examples and, analyzing dashboards and clicks and conversions. So you can kind of just take a general data course and you'll be fine. And that's why I'll put it on B tier. Next up is IBM Data Analysis and Visualization Foundations. I literally see no reason to take this. You're gonna use Excel, which is fine, and Cognos, which I don't recommend. So just take another course, learn something like Power BI or Tableau in D tier. That's all I give it. Now something different. Data analytics in the public sector with R programming by University of Michigan. Now the goal here is to use data to inform public policy. And so it's more of a data course for government positions and public sector decision making. Definitely not for beginners. You should already know some programming and some data stuff. But if you are working with the public sector or in data, and if you want to focus on that, it's a good option. I'm not going to tell you it's a bad option. It's just not something that I would focus on when I'm learning data analytics. But sure, it's a good side quest. I'll put it on B tier. It's not bad, it's just not useful for 99% of people. Moving on to Duke University and their data analysis with R. Now this is actually a really good option if you're choosing R instead of Python, because it goes deeper and it teaches you like the probabilities and statistics and other data concepts and statistic math concepts that play a big role in data science that people usually don't teach in short online courses. And I've said this many times, universities are a fantastic place to learn theory. They've been teaching theory since literally hundreds of years, forever. And Duke is a top university. I've actually taken 1 or 2 math courses from them before online, and I highly recommend it. So if you want to supplement it with some theory and fundamentals that most kind of online learners in short courses and certificates skip, definitely check this one out. I'll put this one on A tier. And then we have an option nobody's talking about, and that's Data Analysis and Interpretation by Wesleyan University. That is a 4-course introduction to data science at only 4 weeks to complete. Now, it's a good option, but there's nothing special here. I'll put it on B tier. You're better off just taking something else that I mentioned before. Now, if you want more certs for data analytics and AI, click this video right here because I cover the new trending hot ones right there. And also check the links in the description, and I'll see you in the next video.